Hello and welcome to the Digital Juice Bar, the only podcast that still thinks Sphinx cats can look really adorable. I'm Hoodlie.
I'm Nightmare Alpha.
You think Sphinx cats look really cute, right?
I'm fine with them. I think they are cool.
You ever seen them? They're like these adorable little, just like, I don't know. Some people call them alien dudes. I think they're cute. Like, they can be kind of pudgy and wrinkly, and they're just like, aw.
I mean, they're just cats without much hair. That's all. They're kind of cute. They're okay.
Yeah. I didn't really have any kind of pop culture reference. I just wanted to talk about Sphinx cats for the intro. Because they don't get a lot of love, because they're just like, ew, hairless cat, but like they're cute. They can be nice pets. Respect cats, man.
I mean, think about it, how these Sphinx cats look at us. Oh, look at these humans with their hair and then
we don't even have that much hair.
Yeah. But they look at us and like, why are they wearing this clothing? Why are they walking upright? I don't know. They're weird. They give me food, so I'm going to like them.
Yeah. And then dogs are just like, oh boy, I hope they're my friend. Oh, they're my friend. Yay. I don't know. Dogs are great too. Cats are nice. Pets in general are just like really nice.
Depends on the pet, I guess.
Yeah. I'd love to have a pet snake.
How would you name the snake?
I kind of want to get like just a tiny little garden snake and then name it something super intimidating, like I don't know, Demonicus, the High Lord of Eternal Nightmares.
Okay.
And he's just like this little snack dude. He's kind of going around, and you boop him on the nose, and he's just like this harmless little guy. He's just so cute.
I will be the king of all friendly snakes.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to try and keep this podcast a little bit shorter than the last two, because the last two have been kind of long. So we're just going to cut right to it, and also because I couldn't really think of anything else. So what have you been up to?
What I've been up to? Last week, I decided to catch up on some TV shows that I have been kind of negligent about. Like I watched 3 seasons of Archer. I had forgotten to watch 3 seasons of Archer. How did that happen? How?
It's a TV show, and TV shows are still fairly inconvenient when compared to at-ready on-demand entertainment, like YouTube and Netflix and stuff.
There's no difference for me. I mean, I haven't watched it on TV. I just, got myself my download and was done with it.
All right, that's fair. I've never really liked Archer. I've tried watching it, and it's just like,
I don't know. Maybe the big thing is I think the first season kind of starts a bit slow, or you need to get into it. I think over time it gets a bit better. It's just I think you have to get into the mood. It's one of these acquired tastes, I would say, but it's definitely
like fried cheese.
Excellent.
Like fried cheese. So I've heard. I've never eaten fried cheese. Sounds gross. It does sound super American, though.
Sure. But yeah, I think Archer is an excellent TV show. The clever writing makes it very enjoyable. But maybe you are into one of the more pop culture elements of the later seasons, where they are basically just jumping from setting to setting and not just going with the spy stuff.
I don't really know, because I mean, I kind of like that kind of referential humor if it's done well. Like, sometimes I like Deadpool jokes a lot of the time. I think he's pretty funny, but at the same time, if they're just like going to a place just for a reference, then I don't really
I mean,
know.
It's not just reference humor most of the time.
Plus, I tried watching it like when it came on, and I was just really bored when I used to actually watch TV. I just like kept flipping through channels. I watched a few episodes. I did not laugh.
It's not a ha-ha show, I would say.
Yeah, I just didn't really like it.
It's okay.
But why do you like it?
Again, I like I like the insanity. I like the characters interacting with each other. There's a lot of wonderful failed communication. It gets very weird at times, and it always keeps its grounding. And I don't know, maybe sometimes it's nice to have to watch it do weird stuff that is very action focused. I mean, the energy that drives the show when Archer is in the driver's seat makes it interesting for me. It's just I want to see where this goes. I want to see what explodes next.
Okay.
That's kind of it. And there's some really good stuff here. I don't know. Maybe you just need the right episode to find your footing.
I don't know, maybe, but I've just got so much anime to watch.
That's true. That's true.
YouTube and video games. It's just like I don't want to stop all that just to watch a show that I don't have a very good history with. I don't know. Maybe someday, but it's probably not.
Maybe it helps you that Krieger has a virtual waifu.
That doesn't help me.
Okay.
So, is there any other show that you've been catching up with?
Well, let's just say that I had to watch a lot of My Little Pony. I hate myself.
Wait, like the original or the one that people say is actually good?
The thing that the people say is actually good. I would never go that far back. Like, no, I remember that. I remember that from my childhood, and it was like, please don't.
So the one of us who is a big fan of a show that is primarily aimed at young girls does not like another cartoon that is primarily aimed at young girls. Explain.
It's very different, so to speak. Like the original My Little Pony show was like, how shall I say, non-confrontational. Confrontational. It just was like these kind of non-plots. It was like, oh, you're not allowed to have a great adventure. You just have to deal with domestic stuff, like the things that is incredibly boring and often held by friendship, large dose of friendship. In the how shall I say, abstract meaning of friendship. Like not real friendship, but more as if friendship would be a measurable unit of radiation.
Like Dragon Ball friendship or Fairy Tale friendship.
Yeah, more fairy tale friendship. Dragon Ball friendship kind of has a more tangible use.
Yeah, because you actually look at scientific explanation, and it's like it does actually kind of make sense. Because if you fight for something you care about, you will get adrenaline and stuff like that, which could help you power through pain and probably power you up and be like, I'm fighting for my friends and I'm fighting for the world. I'm going to defeat this person, even though another stronger person's going to come around in a couple episodes. And they're probably going to kill me for like the 17th time.
But yeah, that's not what the original My Little Pony show was about. It was very weird, very non-confrontational. I would not recommend that. You will bore yourself to death.
So why the heck did you have to watch Friendship is Magic?
I promised somebody I would make a video about it, explaining some of the intricate mechanics of that universe. Because let's just say that some aspects of it are odd, and I wanted to make a video about that. However, the problem is that some of these aspects only show up relatively late in the show, and I wanted to have a full picture of it, so I have to go through all of the 9 seasons of it.
There's 9 seasons?
Yep. I'm so glad the show ended last year, because if not, I would have...
It ended last year? I thought it ended like 2016.
Nope. It was still going. It was still going.
That's bonkers.
It's a lot of things to do. I decided to not do the movie, and I'm not going to watch the Equestria Girl movies again.
They had a movie.
They had a major movie, yeah.
Jeez.
It's actually not that old. Was a pretty big success, actually, as far as they say.
But
yeah, I'm not going... Yep.
No, nothing. Just
But I'm not going through the Equestria Girls stuff again. Like, no, that was...
Is that the one where they're turned into humans?
Yes, and I'm like, oh no, please, not again. It's not
Not
that
the
they are...
deviant art.
It's like, it's not that bad. It's just you have a shock moment. Like, the first movie is like, half of it is a shock moment where you're like, why are you not horses? Why are you human?
They're not
It's
even
like,
horses, I thought. They had like wings and horns.
it's like it's one of these anthropomorphic pseudo things, and I'm like, it's one of these things where I'm like, this is the uncanny valley personified, and I'm like, that's like the biggest problem with half of a movie is like I'm in that shock phase. But the rest of it is fine. I think the second one is actually better. Yes, 2 of these. No, actually 3 of these I just remembered. Ah!
You want to know how many?
It never ends.
You want to know how many Pretty Cure movies there are?
No, I don't hate myself enough for that.
You know, honestly, Pretty Cure isn't that bad. It's
That's
actually pretty good.
In some
Most of
cases
them.
it is, but I just don't. It's a little bit oversaturated for my taste.
There are 18.
18.
I might be counting them wrong, but you know, I'm just going from this list on Wikipedia.
That's not really unfair. I mean, they're like, what, 45 Super Sentai movies, so who cares?
Yeah. They're like the Avengers of magical girls. You know, honestly, if someone had a daughter and they wanted to show them some kind of just cartoon, I would recommend Pretty Cure because I honestly think it is unironically really, really good.
Okay.
The weird thing is that we only got the first series over here, and then one of the more recent ones on Netflix under the name Glitter Force, which is freaking stupid.
The name or the show? The name, the show, or the concept?
The name of the show.
Okay.
Because it's all just about, you know, like middle school girls gaining magical powers through some kind of, you know, like stereotypical girly thing. Like, you know, like how Sailor Moon, what was her thing that she used to transform? Was it just like that sparkly wand thing?
And no, it was a brooch.
Okay.
That was it. But the cat just jumped in the air, did a spin, and spat out a brooch, and that's what she used. I don't know where it comes from. I'm not going to question this.
I'm not even kidding. But no, I actually think Pretty Cure is pretty good, and if you might want to try it.
I mean,
it's kind of like She-Ra.
I'm not going to say I'm against it, but I have a little bit too much on the plate right now, so I move it into the maybe. Okay.
All right, that's fair.
But yeah, so yeah, I have a lot of My Little Pony to watch. 9 seasons. Why 9 seasons?
It's a very weird combination of things.
I want to be honest. The worst part about it is that it's mostly just. I mean, it's not bad, but it's also
kind of
not
nothing.
Like, it's not exceptional. It's just like, even for the time, a lot of people said, "Oh, it was really great," but not really. I saw things like that in 2006. Like, it's not exceptionally great or unique. It's just it's a bit more. It's just a bit more self-aware, and yeah, I mean it's well executed. It's nothing to complain. It's just there. A lot of people say it's so great, but I don't know. There is what the fandom has called the Indoctrination episode. That is, this is the episode that you need to watch to see if you will like the show. They said, like, if you watch this and like it, then you're definitely going to like the whole thing the whole way through. And I watched the so-called Indoctrination episode, and I was like,
didn't like it?
It was like just.
It was fine.
It was okay. It was just neurotic pony tries to figure out how she has to deal with the fact that the main goal of the series cannot be fulfilled because you can't learn every day a lesson about friendship. I'm like, okay, so the main character has a little bit of a existentialist crisis. That's fair. That's fine. It's just that I think I saw this on SpongeBob once, and I'm like, yeah, it's a thing. I mean, if SpongeBob can have an existentialist crisis, then the pony can have. It's just I wouldn't necessarily think that this is the thing that I have to watch for that. I guess, but it's okay. I mean, it's little girls will like it, and apparently a large group of very old adult people. Bronies are weird.
Don't judge them, man.
I'm not judging them. I'm just saying
you can judge them on your own time, but not out loud.
It's like I just don't know, man. Just maybe not. I remember Bob's Burgers making a reference to that, and that was just awkward. It was a whole episode. Please don't watch that. It's not that the episode is bad. It's just, oh god.
What, Bob's Burgers isn't really good? It's not.
No, Bob's Burgers is an excellent show. I love it. But this episode is like, if you're a My Little Pony fan, maybe don't watch that episode because.
Oh, I'm not. I do not understand it at all.
What do you mean?
I don't understand why people like that show so much. Then again, I fully admit to liking Pretty Cure, so I'm just weird.
I don't think that there is not a possible intersection here. I think on the diagram there are probably a lot of people who like Bob's Burgers who also like Pretty Cure. It's just that you don't fall into both of these categories, you know?
All right.
The Venn diagram doesn't cover you in this case. What is totally fine. But right. No, I would not. But My Little Pony fans should not necessarily watch this show. It might give you a very wrong perception, and maybe might be a little bit insulting to you guys. Like, I don't want to. I don't mind you guys. It's just that was a bit weird, even for that show. So yeah, be careful with that.
Okay.
So yeah, but that's what I have been dealing with. That and just going back to Star Trek Online for some reason, but
cool.
Yeah. So, and you? What are you up?
Pretty much just finishing up the semester for school. So just doing some annoying projects, and outside of that, I wanted to try watching another martial arts movie, but then I just got kind of tired, and I was like, I don't want to watch a movie. So I played more Octopath Traveler because I still haven't beaten it. It's a very long game.
I saw you post you wanted to do a stream about that, but apparently people didn't want it to.
Well, the thing is, I still have my school semester ends like next Thursday. That's when the last final I have is, something like that. And I meant, like, I wanted to do, because, like, I'm not actually done with the main game yet. I think I still have, like, 4 or 5 of the character stories to finish up. And I'm going through them right now. I was just, like, excuse me. I just meant, like, as a kind of chill stream, because, yeah, I do like the game. It's just not fantastic, because the writing is just generally not super great. It's kind of a fun throwback. It's
I found the story to be a bit on the simple side. Not bad.
Well, there are 8 of them.
Yeah, I mean,
I really want to make a video about, like, retro storytelling, because you can have old mechanics and still be fun. That's basically the motto of Pokemon. That and obsessive compulsive disorder, and then you have, like, old stories being retold, and then you just don't really add anything to them, and that's just not a thing that works, I find. Because, you can play first-person shooters a lot. You can play them a lot, and you can enjoy them a lot, and that's mainly because there are a lot of FPS games that are just very similar to each other. And, if you pay attention to the story in a lot of them, you'll probably get really sick, because a lot of them are just go shoot the dudes for reasons. Not a lot of them add any kind of nuance, at least that I've seen. Then again, in Doom, the story is go kill demons because they're demons and you have guns that you can kill them with, which I approve of. 100%.
I mean, you can thank John Carmack for that, who thinks like story in video games is like story in a porn
movie. Yeah, I know the saying. He's wrong.
He is definitely wrong. I assure you.
But then again, his company was known for making FPS games in the 90s, so...
I mean, nowadays he's more interested in VR technology anyway, and sure, if he wants to, I'm fine with that. But I think VR also is a good tool for storytelling. We just haven't reached that point yet.
Yeah.
So, but I think retro storytelling is an interesting point of view. But we've seen what can happen because we see a lot of modern developers trying to use simpler and cheaper method of creating games. So the question is, why not use simpler and cheaper methods, but also use modern storytelling tricks and elements? Be a little bit more aware, And I think some of these games, and I think some games don't have that problem. Like, I don't think you needed to necessarily like add to games like Final Fantasy VII in the story. Like with the remake, you didn't have to add anything to that because I think it was already very solid. But if you want to expand it, if you want to do something different with it, I'm fine with that. Sure.
I'm glad they did. They gave Aerith some more personality. That's good, yeah. Now she's a sweary person who hits people with chairs, and I'm just like, okay, that's actually really entertaining. I like her.
That's actually kind of how I expected her to be, because in the game she was really kind of more this idealized, pure little girl.
She's white mage.
Yeah, and it's like, come on, there's a little bit more you can get out. You cannot lay at as the business for Tifa. You can't. Just give a little bit more to her.
Tifa's cool though.
Yeah, she is, but it's just, come on, give a little bit more to her. She deserves it.
I mean, she's gonna die. You might as well make her more memorable.
Yeah, just do something with that.
Does she die at the end of the remake? Because it's like, isn't it like we still have 2 more parts?
They're not at that point yet. That's like, the game goes only to the end of Midgar, and Aerith dies a way bit later into the game. And that's far out.
This whole remake thing is gonna take like 10 years.
I tell you, it will take us another Kingdom Hearts. But yeah.
So anyway, with Octopath Traveler, I do really like the gameplay. It's basically just, it's really simplified. It's not simplified. It's just like, it's turn-based combat. And I like turn-based combat because I think a lot of people just kind of disrespect it because it's not constantly moving. Like, oh, you gotta go and do things. No, it's not like that. It's just like, okay, it's a more thoughtful kind of gameplay.
Yeah,
and that's kind of why I like it, and that's why I don't know. I guess that's a big reason as to why I like a lot of JRPGs, because turn-based combat, it's nice. Sometimes you just want to like sit back and just like not have to deal with as many things as in like say Bayonetta or something like that, and I like it. And I do think that it is a fun game. It's kind of like a cheeseburger waiting for some kind of reactionary noise.
Well, why would I do? It's just, I know what a cheeseburger is. It's good. I'm saying it just because it's not complicated.
It's a simple thing that you want to do because you just want it, and it's like, it doesn't have to be amazing. It'll probably still be good. And it's competently put together. I think it looks really nice. It's got really good music, and I wanted to do the stream because I just like doing the fights, because I thought it might be a kind of interesting thing to do, because it's just like, I like JRPGs. I want my channel to be more focused on those kinds of games, because just I like them, I like talking about them, and streaming the process of getting like these 4 super secret jobs. I think that would be pretty cool. I haven't beaten the game yet. Maybe I'll do that by the time I decide to stream it. Maybe not. I don't know. I do need to level them up a lot, because the final bosses are actually pretty tough. Or maybe it was just the one for Ulberic, because that guy was a tool. He wasn't even weak to any of the weapons that Ulberic has. Like, that doesn't make any sense. He's his final boss, and he's weak to like knives, axes, lightning, wind, and light. Ulberic is a warrior.
I
He has
know.
no magic spells, and he uses swords and spears.
I mean,
So,
that's kind of. I think you're having the wrong assumption. Like, I think it should be harder for Ulbrich to defeat his specific boss because
I guess it would have been nice if he had like one weakness that Ulberic just inherently had. Like if he had a sword or a spear weakness, just one of them, that would have been fine. But I guess it was to kind of integrate. Like, no, you need your companions that you don't really interact with within your own story. You just kind of go into this little pocket dimension to talk to them every now and then. But like you need your friends to help beat the guy, even though
I see where the problem is. This is more of a structural problem. If the characters of the story would interact a little bit more with each other, and you would really have this feeling that they're growing together, and they're like, "I'm overcoming this together. I'm helping you. I'm exposing the weakness. Hold his hair. I'm drop kicking him."
None of them have drop kicks.
I know, sadly, but I can dream.
I mean, they might. There might be like one of the super secret classes might be like a monk or something that fights like with. That'd be really cool if he fought with no weapons and he was just he just hit really hard.
It's so surprising to me that they didn't have a monk. I mean, the monk is one of the classic Final Fantasy classes, and they wanted to showcase them, and
it's a retro throwback. That is kind of weird, but I think it's just because they wanted to emphasize the breaking guard system thingy, so everyone needed like a different weapon, and you mixed and matched their classes. Strangely enough, when I did fight Ulberic's final boss, his second class was merchant, so he could actually pay for multiple axe hits, multiple light hits, and he can use wind magic. So that was fortunate, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was a weird kind of coincidence. Like he could do stuff, but I just needed to like build up BP, and that was kind of hard to do because I don't know. Maybe I should also grind up just to take on the final bosses for a stream, because I definitely want to, just to celebrate. Like, oh my gosh, I'm finally done with this freaking semester. I hate college. I hate it so much. I wish I could make videos for a living.
What I find, the game kind of begs the question, like, how do you develop an immunity against swords? Like, I'm pretty sure humans are normally weak to swords,
I mean, to be fair, they would probably have a weakness to literally everything, since you can call down bolts of lightning.
Yeah. So I wonder how it's just, how do you develop an immunity against lightning? That's a question I would like to. Like, I remember how early role-playing games handled that. You would have basically have to be hit by lightning all the time and survive it.
I mean, that would make like Cyrus just super overpowered because he's just the magic dude. I like Cyrus. He's like a dense harem protagonist who's like so focused on this one thing that he doesn't notice all the girls hitting on him, because he's a sexy guy.
I mean, he is.
I like his artwork. I like his design. He's a neat dude. And if everything was weak to magic, he could electrocute, burn, and freeze everything to death. So, it's just it's a video game thing.
I know. But now I just like to think of him just standing naked on top of a mountain while a rainstorm is going on. And then a bus hit him.
They don't have buses.
I know, this is a joke.
At least with the monsters, it makes sense as to why they would be immune to something. Like, oh, you can't break this big turtle's guard with a sword, but you can break it with, like, ice magic. That kind of makes sense, I guess. I don't know if there actually is a turtle monster. Whatever, the point is... I think that they were just trying to emphasize that guard break system, which it isn't. It's a neat idea, and I like how the final boss
make sense. That's okay.
Yeah, it's just a video game thing that they put into their video game, that they were trying to just make a video game. They weren't trying to make a movie that you could press buttons to move along with, like The Last of Us or anything David Cage has made since Omicron, which actually is kind of a neat game. They were just trying to be like, hey, we like these old RPGs. Let's make a new one that's a lot like those old ones. Okay, boom, done. Sold millions of copies. Thank you, Square. I like the game. Maybe for the next one, you could make it a story about 8 people rather than 8 stories about 8 different people. That'd be cool. I'd enjoy that.
Yeah, but next on the line is Bravely Default 2. I'm like, wait, we already had a second Bravely Default. It was called Bravely Second. So basically you're like, so this is Bravely Default 2 the second time around. I'm like,
they should call the third game Bravely 3 Fault.
Yeah, that'd
be great.
A good idea.
But anyway, yeah, I really would like to stream Octopath Traveler because it's a really chill game for me because I really like JRPGs. It's not like super brain taxing. It's just like it's a fun game that I like quite a bit.
But that puts a little bit of pressure onto you because now you have to finish the editing of this episode before you start streaming.
This doesn't take very long to edit, dude.
Well, last time you said something differently.
Well, yeah, that's because I had a lot of projects that week that took a lot of time.
Good. Just checking in. Just wanted to know. And you always know. Yeah, I can do that too if you want to.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it for what I've been up to. Let's talk about the thing that I wanted to talk about because I wanted to talk about this for a while, but no one ever wants to talk about it with me because it's I don't know why. We're gonna make up and brainstorm Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes.
Yay!
Now I actually have made like one Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype and dueling book because you can make custom cards on that, and it actually turned out kind of okay.
Did the connection break or what?
No, I was just waiting for you to say something like ask what it is or something.
To elaborate on it.
What?
I thought you wanted to elaborate on your archetype. Tell me.
Yeah, I didn't want to. All right. Well, the archetype that I made up, it's called Weasels. They're pretty much just like level 2 Earth beast monsters that have like different effects that involve searching each other, and they've got some floating effect. They're basically just like a tiny little rank 2 spam engine. They got 4. They got like 4 main deck monsters and like 3 extra deck monsters and like 2 spells, and that's their entire archetype. At this point in time, their whole thing is just you get out your monsters, you go into like level 2s, and that's pretty much it. And the monsters they have are Forage Weasel, which lets you special summon by discarding a weasel. And this is actually an archetype that I talked to other people in a custom card Discord server, so they actually did help me refine it. So this is like not necessarily the model that we're going by, but it's just kind of like general sort of like kind of a thing that I at least made that's kind of okay. You got Forage Weasel, which lets you special summon from your hand by discarding a weasel, and then if it's in the grave, you can Foolish Burial another one. And then you got Search Weasel, which lets you... It just lets you shuffle back your other weasels in the grave and then special summon, and that's kind of it. Sneak Weasel, which lets you summon it if you control another weasel. If it's into the... It lets you search any weasel card by if it's into the grave. So that's kind of neat. And then you got Cheat Weasel. You can banish it from the grave to add a weasel monster from deck or grave to hand, except itself, and then when it's on the field, you can discard a weasel to special summon one in your grave. So that's what the main decks do.
A lot of weaseling. I mean, it's okay. I think just That's a very utility archetype kind of thing.
Yeah. And then they got
I don't really like utility archetypes where it's like, yeah, you're playing only like these because you want to get to specific things. Like in this case, you want to do like a generic rank 2 engine, and I'm like,
no, they actually have rank 2s of their own.
I know, but it's like it would never be used for that. It would be always like used for generic ones because
I actually did try. Actually, they do have one that's actually pretty good. It's called Thief Weasel.
okay.
Thief Weasel. Rank 2 Earth Beast, 1300 attack, 1800 defense, 2 or more level 2 monsters. It's Omega. You know, you can banish it and one random card from your opponent's hand until your next standby phase. And when it comes back, you can attach 2 weasels in the grave to it as materials. So the idea with this card is that you get 2 weasels on board, and then you use them to summon Thief Weasel, use its effect to banish itself, sending the weasels to the grave and getting rid of a card out of your opponent's hand for the turn. And then when the weasels when the weasels are sent to the grave, you get their effects. So they help you search and stuff like that. And that's its idea. And it actually kind of works. You know, it's okay.
I mean, it's not that I don't think that it doesn't work. It's just I don't like these kind of archetypes that are just focused on doing that specific thing, and you will always end up with like having half of that and splashed into a deck, and nobody's actually using this for what it's worth. But
yeah, but that's what Yu-Gi-Oh's like nowadays. Every archetype has like maybe that one handful of cards, or maybe even just that one card that's like really good. So you put it in other decks that have literally nothing to do with it, and you just use it. You basically just forget that all the other cards exist.
Yeah.
But this is just like an example of one that I have made that works kind of well. Like it's fine. They're my weasels. They do some stuff. They're not great, but they are a thing. So that's basically what we're trying to do. We're gonna make up concepts for archetypes and then brainstorm like cards and stuff. So, do you have one that you wanted to do, or you want me to go first, or?
I mean, I have some ideas. It's just that the problem that I have is that I usually thing to basically control the meta to the point where it's like, no, I don't want you to play that. Stop playing this piece of thing.
Yeah.
But I try to find something. The problem is a lot of what I would like to do or what I would find interesting would be a problem. Like, for example, I wanted to do like kind of a hand assassin archetype where it's like they snipe cards out of their hand and banish them face down. The problem is that, that usually leads to incredible lockdowns because you usually can do that in the first turn, and Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't like when you do that because that can stop the enemy from playing anything.
Yeah, that's why Delinquent Duo and Gunpowder Dragon are banned.
Yes.
But not that one Trickstar card. Like, oh, Trickstar trap card, draw and lock, you can't play the game. Screw you, Trickstars. No one likes you.
So my idea was how can I circumvent that, but in a way that is interesting. So instead of making them assassins, I would make them ransom enforcers. They basically have effects that would banish cards from the hand face down. That would happen, but and that's the interesting part. As long as they're on the field, the opponent can use certain effects on the card itself to get the cards back into the hand. The question is and that's like kind of a problem, that how do I do that in a way that is effective enough? I thought at first, tying that to life points, but it must be a very substantial amount of life points so that they think twice of trying to retrieve these pieces unless they are really essential. It's just so hard because it seems like the only way to get rid of a card so that it cannot use for any kind of purpose is to banish it face down. That's the only way.
Even then, you can't really do that because you got stuff like Grenmaju, Necroface.
Yeah, but that's something you can deal with.
I feel like that deck would be a terrible matchup against against Granmaju because it's just like, oh, thanks for banishing more cards. Here's this giant beater.
Yeah, but that's like okay. I mean, it's fine. I mean, you can do something with a giant beater. Isn't not effect immune. You know, it's like you can get rid of that. However, the point that I have is like you need to get it somewhere where it doesn't hurt. You cannot get it into the grave. The only other option would be to like shuffle it into the deck. That's
You
like
could
the
do Time Thieves.
What do you mean?
Time Thieves are a really cool archetype that desperately need more support. Their whole thing, well, not their whole thing, but their main guy, Redoer, well, Doctor Who, basically, he has the effect where he's an Xyz monster. He's a generic rank 4 Xyz monster, and he has an effect where during each standby phase, you can take the top card of your opponent's deck and give it to him as material, and then he gains a different effect depending on what card you detach from him. So if it's a monster, you banish him until the end of the turn. If it's a spell, you get to draw a card, and if it's a trap card, you get to bounce one of your opponent's cards. So that's cool. So that kind of works, and it kind of reminds me of an archetype I tried thinking of where it was like you put your opponent's cards in your own grave because they were police officers.
That's not something they like. It's like this is one of the things that Konami doesn't want to do anymore. Manipulation thing, because it's odd. Like they had that with Parasite, and it was like confusing as hell.
Yeah, I know. It was. I didn't really like that idea.
But
I don't know.
yeah,
I thought it was kind of a neat idea because they were like galaxy police, but whatever.
Yeah, but
so let me see if I got this right. Your cards are basically okay. You take cards from your opponent's hand and banish them, but if they do a certain thing that's to their detriment, they can get the card back.
Yes,
that's kind of dumb.
Not necessarily.
I'm kidding. It's a neat idea. You need a name.
Yeah, that's kind of a point. That's the reason why I thought of kind of like enforcers, because
troll trolls or toll trolls.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I think
call them toll trolls.
Yeah, toll trolls is a good idea. That sounds really good. Like I would make a lot of trolls in business suits.
I think they actually did that on one of the filler episodes of 5Ds. Oh wait, those were loan sharks. It's something else.
Yeah, so
you could pair them with plunder patrols, and you would have a fun little a troll deck that isn't like self-destruct button.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. Like, I think
you gotta pay the troll toll to get into this card soul. I don't know.
So their field spell then would be like a skyscraper under a bridge.
Oh, that's how the heck would that work? Wouldn't it make more sense?
Build a very large bridge.
What if the bridge was the skyscraper?
Yeah, that's the kind of point. Like, it's basically the same. Like, it's just a giant bridge, and the skyscraper is basically under it, and that's the headquarter.
All right, so that's the archetype we're talking about. We're talking about toll trolls.
Okay, toll trolls.
So they just rip your opponent's cards out of their hand or something like that, and they got to pay something to get them back. Like
so, yeah. But the question is, what kind of payment do we give them? Like, it should be something that also is detrimental to. But like, I would like to remove advantage. Like if they want to take something back from their hand that they got sniped, they should also remove something from their hand in exchange. But not in the sense like banishing or just putting it back or something like that. I would like
maybe. I think the first thing you need to figure out is, are they? I guess these guys are kind of a control deck.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. They're here to control. That's what they do. They're not supposed to be very, very physically strong. Like, they will not have massive attack power or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. Control decks don't tend to be super powerful.
No. The question is how to trigger the effect. Like, the first thing that comes to mind is, of course, if they do battle damage. But
that's not happening.
That's not happening. I mean,
if they're physically weak as a control archetype, they're not going to do battle damage because that's typically not what control decks do.
Yeah.
Also, its boss monster should be like the CEO, so it should be like so-and-so, the CEO toll troll.
Yeah.
or
can't do.
Troll CEO. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Okay. So the question now becomes, how do we do that? So, do we do that just as a simple main phase once per turn snipe effect?
Maybe you could do it like when this card is summoned, you can banish one random card from your opponent's hand face down. Your opponent can pay like I don't know 1,000 life points to return the card banished by this effect to their hand. Or maybe you could do it like the CEO, maybe like their boss. I'm just gonna call him the CEO because I like the idea of these
totally
little
fine.
trolls making a business out of stealing, and you gotta pay stuff. Maybe you could do it like your opponent has to pay 500 life points for every card they activate. Actually, that'd be stupid.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be like he takes damage each time they banish cards. Because, like,
We'll
with a lot of cards today, like Orcists or, Pot of Duality and stuff like that, it could stack up to a decent amount of damage. Maybe the idea behind the archetype could be like you take their stuff and deny them resources so that you can build up your own little guys, and then you get out cards that deal them damage when their cards are banished? Or would you like them to be...
I mean, if we could, maybe we do that differently. The idea could be like, we're not actually, like paying life points, but paying life points to the opponent, and we think of something life point related effects that they can activate based on that, or gain effects on the amount of life points that you have. So you could basically ransack their life point support to bolster your own effects. That would be something you could do on top of that.
So, like, are you talking like if they pay you 1,000 life points, they can get one of their cards back?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Oh, okay. Oh, so they're paying you. They're not paying with their own stuff. They're just giving you stuff.
No, they have to pay also something of themselves. Like
I feel like if they're giving you something, like gaining life points and to get a card back, along with doing something of their own, like maybe if they said like, reduce opponent's life points by 500 and then you gain 500.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Because other forms of advantage would be too hard. Like if you say like, okay, you can have your card back, but I have to, but I can draw one of these. That would be like a little bit extreme, like.
Banish one card from your opponent's hand face down. Once per turn, your opponent can. Okay, wait. Once per turn, you can I feel like maybe one of them could have like a search effect. But that would be kind of weird.
We first have to build the effect, but it can't be too much. The important part is we have to do a limitation so that it can't happen at the first turn, and we also have to limit the maximum amount of how often you can do that. Because if every of these
hard ones per turn,
no, not just hard ones per turns, like ultra hard ones per turns. Like
I don't think you can get more than hard ones per turn.
I think I would say like you can use only one of these effects of one of the monsters of the archetype once per turn.
That's way too restrictive.
But I have to, because otherwise it would be too good. Because then you could
you have to remember, if you're playing a control archetype, you're probably not going to have a lot of swarming. So at most, you're maybe going to get like 2 or 3 on board in a single turn, and then your opponent.
That's already the problem. Think about it. That's already the problem. That's the reason why we don't have duel, because delinquent duo just snipes 2 cards out of the opponent's hand. That's
maybe
already
it would be better if it was from like the top of their deck. Like if you summon one, you can banish the top 2 cards, and they can pay you like a 500 life points to get them back.
This is the real kind of tricky thing about this archetype that I have thought about.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah, it's just if I want to really do that ransom, it needs to be something that they can control in a certain way that it's not too hard, because the
Control.
the moment you bring out 2 of these in a turn and can activate their effects, you're already at the level of a delinquent duo.
Maybe
And
if you needed another toll troll on field to activate one card, and you could only use that monster's effect once. But okay, maybe a good way to balance it would be like you activate their banishing effects when you summon them, but you can only do it if you have another monster of the archetype on field.
I mean, that would be a possibility, but we always know what link monsters do and how easy it is to get even. You know?
Yeah, but what if you just don't like give them a link monster?
Yeah, I that's not just me, you know. The problem is they can just summon and resummon, you know, like depending on how you do that. Like, it's not a it's not a problem to get a card back from the biggest problem with that is always that it very much reduces the opportunity to play the game. That's kind of a problem that I have here. This is the real big deal. The fact that it's
you're playing a control deck, and if you think about it, in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, a lot of archetypes usually rely on like 2-3 card combos. So if you at most get off maybe 3 effects and you banish 3 cards from their opening hand, they'd have 2, so they likely could still make a play.
No, that's the point. I mean, you could still make it, but they really don't like this. And if you want to build an archetype that could be decent, you would have this problem. Like, you can go to that custom card Discord and discuss the idea there, and they will tell you, no, that's too much. That's not something that you could play, because it would so easily dominate the field and lead to these kind of OTK strategies that they don't want to. And that's kind of a problem, because it keeps the players from having all of it. The idea is to have an advantage, but also get the advantage back. But it needs to be based on that power level. So that's kind of a problem that I have.
It's just kind of like the idea is super neat, but you just don't know a way to make it fair or balanced. Because the core concept of the deck is to rip your opponent's cards away from them and then give it back if they do something that benefits you.
Yeah, but the problem is, again, if it is basically like, if I can do that too much or have the requirement to be too high, then it's just not going to get there. So, yeah, the only option would be if they pay me 500, maybe 1,000 life points per card back. Then I could see this working.
Yeah, but life points don't really matter a whole lot.
And that's the problem. Yeah, but that's the problem. That is the only way to reduce it. So, I don't know. I don't know, maybe putting a card from their hand back onto the deck. Like, that's the least problematic thing you could do.
I mean, yeah, maybe. That might actually be kind of neat, maybe. The way... I'm kind of wondering if that might be a better option. Like, you can, instead of banishing, you could shuffle?
I mean, either that or... Oh, wait. Let me see. Oh, maybe. No, we're making this different. We're making this different. Okay.
We're still calling toll trolls.
But we're still toll trolls. That's not what's going on, but we're doing this. They're not banishing face down anything. They're just making it simple. You can put one of their cards once per turn on top of their deck, and they can pay once per turn to get that card back, but only if the effect was used in a previous turn. So they basically can draw a card, then they pay, but they have to put also one back whenever the effect is out.
Okay, that might work. So, like, you summon one, you use its effect, put one random card on your opponent's deck, and then when their turn comes around, they draw the same card, and if they want to draw an extra card, they can hard once per turn, pay you 500,
or
in
something
order
else.
to
It doesn't
draw
actually
an extra card.
at that point it doesn't actually need to be tied to life point. It could be something different, because at that point we're not playing the delinquent duo, because yes, we're putting them down, but we're also putting them up. So it
Place
doesn't
one card on the bottom of their deck. That's the payment. They can get an extra draw for each of their effects, but each time they do so, they have to put one on the bottom of their deck.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would,
because then it keeps them kind of hand neutral.
Yeah, I think so. Do we want?
Oh, you know, it would be a kind of neat idea.
Yeah.
If the CEO or like their field spell or something, every time that if it said something like each time your opponent places a card on the bottom of their deck due to a Toll Troll monster's effect, they have to show it to you, and they can't use that card for the rest of the turn. Because that way they can't just, like, if it's a card they can easily search out, they can't just be like, okay, if you're playing against heroes for something and you get like 2 cards out of their hand with their effects, and they're like, I want to draw an extra card, I'm going to put Stratos on the bottom of the deck so that they can get like E-Call or something. They can't then activate E-Call to get Stratos and then summon Stratos because the effect wouldn't be able to work because they can't use it. They have to show you what they're putting, and then they can't use it. That might kind of work.
On top of that, we could maybe put a requirement on that for grade, like maybe if life points are at a certain degree, that the card is not while the CEO is out, he can actually allow that it's not going to the bottom of the deck, but it's banished face down instead. Because
no, I don't think that would work, because at that point you are like permanently reducing your opponent's thing. I think it would be more fair for this archetype, because if you can figure out a way to get a bunch of them on field and use their effects, I think just being able to restrict the cards that they can use that turn and like give them a smaller hand size, I think that's kind of fair, because they could at least remain hand neutral, but you can like make it so they can't use certain cards. I think banishing stuff face down and like permanently reducing the cards they can use, unless they have some kind of card that lets them like shuffle it back in, which is like Necroface, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be very fair. I think it would be a lot better if if you could just do the hand ripping thing, and then like just see what they're putting, and then like say, okay, you can't use that.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Yeah.
Toll Trolls.
The question then is, what's a win condition? That's the big question. What's the win condition?
Yeah, I guess it is. Do control decks even have a win condition? I think like control decks just try and restrict what your opponent can do as much as possible, to the point where they can't play anymore.
That's true, but there still needs to be a win condition, because of
Toll Troll debt or something like that. Like maybe each time your opponent places a card on the bottom of their deck due to a Toll Troll effect, you burn them for 500. Because if we're going with the whole putting the card on the bottom of the deck for the payment of getting an extra draw, then they'll still take damage. And then, if you have...
That's true, but we need to put it on something that maybe is thing. Like this is kind of a problem that I have. Is that modern Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't set up like trap cards anymore, or permanent spell cards mostly. Like if you really want to be consistent, you only have like a field spell that is permanent. And I'm not sure if I want to put that on the field spell.
Would you rather put the showing and preventing thing on the field spell?
No, because that can be searched out too easily.
I mean, Plunder Patrols have a really good field spell, and it's a Plunder Patrol card. Then again, I don't think... No, they do have a generic searcher.
That's kind of a problem. The point is that I would like to put it on something that is able to be bring out, and that's it. I mean, the only other option would be to putting it also on the boss monster, but that would make it like top heavy. If the boss monster is like that specific case.
So I guess the win condition here would be to get out like the combination of cards that will hurt your opponent while also restricting what they can do by paying the toll troll by paying the troll toll.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I really like this idea.
Yep.
This is a cool idea.
And from that, we can develop the typical thing. There's one for removal, one for search, one for retrieval. You know, these kind of typical things.
Yeah.
Maybe even put some life point cost on these to activate the effects to make sure that it's like kind of money.
I think the cards acting as money would make more sense.
I don't know. I think this is like, I mean, sure, but it's not what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is usually makes. Life points and money are equivalent to each other in many cases. We could put it on the field spell that whenever the troll toll effect is activated, you gain 500 life points.
Yeah, but that's not really furthering your win condition.
I mean, if your effects that you use are all based on life point payment, then it does kind of.
Yeah, but life points don't matter.
I know. We will see about that.
You mean like using life points to pay your own effects?
Yes. Like the secondary...
the toll trolls would, like, you can pay 500 life points once per turn to do the thing.
I mean, it's not the... No, the hand effect would be basically not like... Because they're like loan enforcers, you know? They give you money just to take the money away or to break your legs, you know? That's what they're doing, you know?
You should have one that's just like such and such the toll troll enforcer.
Yep.
Where like every time your opponent places a card on the bottom of their deck, you get to pop a card. There you go.
That's good. That's good. You know, that would work. Like you're triggering the effect, and that's actually pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, so let me just see if I've got this like right. Just
Okay.
let me see. So this is a kind of control deck that's trying to restrict your opponent from what they can do and reducing the number of cards they have. And their monster effect is that you can summon them and like, okay, do you pay life points for the monster effects?
No, you don't need to, because that's not the idea behind it. You don't
so is
need
it just
to,
like
but
a free once per turn?
I wouldn't necessarily...
Because like if it's not, that'd be kind of a crappy effect.
I mean, yes, true, but I mean, they go hand neutral if they want to anyway, and they can do it as much as they want. So basically, like, it's basically just cycling through that deck. So
it is a pretty interesting concept to basically have your opponent activate monster effects that you control.
Yeah.
Then they can't use stuff like Dark Ruler no more, because if they do that, they can't get their stuff back. That's a really cool thing.
Yeah, that's
actually a really cool concept.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea to do that. They activate the opportunity. It can be a free one. We'll see. We prototype a thing and showcase it to some custom Yu-Gi-Oh communities and see how they feel about that.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, question though. Should the boss monster, should it be like an extra deck monster? Like, is it an Xyz or something? And do you want it to do the damaging thing?
It should be doing the damaging thing, and I would like to have it to be an extra deck monster, but I'm not sure what kind of extra deck monster yet.
Maybe a contact fusion, like 2 toll trolls?
That's not actually a good idea.
Synchro?
You have to... Actually, I kind of want to make it an Xyz.
That makes sense.
Because like in a corporation, you stack things on each other to
that makes perfect sense. It's an Xyz. It's going to be a rank 4 Xyz, and it's going to be such and such the Toll Troll CEO.
You know, maybe I think it's if we make that a rank 4, it should have at least free. It need to have free materials. I think
that's kind of tricky because you're. I feel like 2 would be enough because, you know, if it's a rank 4, it's probably not going to be super strong. You're playing a control deck. You're probably not swarming a lot. Unless there's like a toll troll that's like if your opponent returns a card from their hand to their deck, you can special summon this card from your hand. That might do it, but then you would need that specific card, and you would need to specifically trigger another Toll Troll. So
yeah, we'll see about that. This is the tricky part. Developing that boss monster is not so good, but I would give it at least a decent attack power range, like maybe in the 2800 department.
maybe
So
you could make its defense, because like you're probably not going to attack. Maybe its attack could be like 2,000, and its defense could be like 25. That seems
I don't
fair.
know. It's just that so little things go into the defense, you know, and I think it's
Yeah, but you're not trying to just punch your opponent to death. You're trying to just like, ha 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 ha, you can't do anything. You paid the troll toll.
it's just I would like to have at least one enforcement option.
That's why you got the enforcer.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Just I want to have at least one combat capable card, just one, nothing more, just one.
Like maybe you could have two. Maybe the enforcer could be like another Xyz monster.
Possible. We'll
And then
see.
like each turn you have to like they would need some kind of detach effect. Like maybe the CEO could search out any toll troll by just detaching a material. That seems like fair. And then for the other guy,
But I'm not sure if a boss monster should be also a searcher.
I mean, you would need like a generic search card, so like Toll Troll Recruitment. Add one level 4 or lower Toll Troll monster from your deck to hand. Normal spell card, you only use it once per turn.
We could also do something interesting. We could, for example, fit the activation of a Toll Troll effect as a requirement for certain cards.
Yeah, maybe. Like how?
That could be interesting for the trap card.
What would the trap card do? I mean, what would it be?
I mean, I think of like payment stop. Yeah, that's actually an interesting idea. When a Toll Troll effect is activated, that a player has to remove a card from their hand, but it negates the effect of the used Toll Troll monster till the end of the next controlling player's round. It's basically like, you can't get it back this time around.
Wait, what if it was just like, because like then again, I guess the Toll Trolls are basically just their effects are mostly about like taking your opponent, and then during their turn, they get to use your monster's effect to get them back. So if you do that, I guess it would work. You could also just have like a continuous trap where like all Toll Troll monster effects are negated during your opponent's turn.
That would be. I think that would be too strong. There must be a maintenance. There would have been a maintenance cost on to make it work, because otherwise it's like, yeah, I can activate my effects and you can't get anything back.
You have to discard one Toll Troll monster from your hand, or you have to banish one Toll Troll monster from your hand face down during each of your end phases.
Yeah, so you have to pay at least once the maintenance.
Yeah, because I can imagine like they're probably not going to have any effects that would really matter for like interruption.
No, not really. That's
you can
not
only really do it during your opponent's turn, and that would only benefit you. And then their effects only benefit your opponent on their turn. But if they can't pay anything, they can't do anything. So that's kind of a neat thing.
I know what we call this Toll Troll union break.
Okay, that's it. That's the continuous trap. Toll Troll Union Break. That's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be.
That's the greatest thing ever. I just too
And the
great.
fuel spell is just Toll Troll Bridge Skyscraper, I guess. Toll Troll Bridgeness. Because it's a business. Toll Troll Bridgeness Center? I don't know. I wonder what we could name them after, though. Could we name them like parodies of business tycoons?
We could.
Could you call one could you call one like Bob's? It's like Steve Jobs.
See, the problem is I don't want to use you wouldn't use tech because they're like innovating and they're like trolls are not innovating, man. They're here to take your stuff. But we'll think about that. Otherwise, I
really do like this idea. So that's Toll Trolls. Their win condition is getting their CEO on the field and keeping your opponent hand neutral while restricting what they can do to actually do. That's a cool thing.
And it has the ultimate joke in form of a trap card that nobody would ever see as powerful unless you actually see what's going on.
Yeah, that'd be really funny. Although, would it make more sense if instead of adding the errata where they can only get the card back, if it was put there during the previous turn, would it make more sense to say during your opponent's turn? Because maybe that would help reduce the number of like letters you would need.
The wording of a card we'll take on later. We don't have to now have a specific wording of a cards ready.
Yeah. All right.
That's something.
All right, so
something
that's their thing. They got a field spell. They got a trap card in the term of Union Break. That's hilarious. Bravo. And they got the enforcer guy with the Toll Troll Enforcer.
Yeah,
he pops cards. So
we're going to collect this all later and then do a. I don't know.
All right.
Artwork is probably hard to come by for that, but we'll see.
I mean, I wish I could actually draw well so that I could just like draw these things because I like this idea a lot. We're probably going to go over an hour and a half. I don't care because I never get to do this, and this is awesome. Toll Trolls. That's a really good idea.
Okay. Well, so what do you have in store?
I have a few. Which would you like to know? Would you like to know about carbonators, whooshes, or I had another. Can't remember what it was called though. Which one out of those would you want to know?
I don't know. The last one is so mysterious.
Whooshes?
Like no, the one that you don't have a name for.
I don't remember what it was.
And just go with the carbonators,
What?
Then go with the carbonators.
All right. Well, carbonators are water warriors based on soda.
Cool.
And their thing is that they don't have as an interesting mechanic as your Toll Trolls, but the idea behind them is that while their support cards, like their spell and traps, are on the field, once per turn, a certain one can like destroy a certain card, and then your spell and traps trigger their effects when a card is destroyed by the effect of one of their monsters. So destroy a card, get an effect, but you need to have both on field. And the pun is that you pop cards.
Okay.
So they're soda pop.
Yeah. So are on the carbonators then specific effects when you pop a card on top of that? Like, because a soda is refreshing only after you pop it. Until then it's just, a can.
You ever see the anime Akikan?
Nope.
Oh, it's not like that, but it's like, I don't know, that's just what I thought. But the carbonators themselves are like, they look like knights with very colorful armor that kind of look like soda cans. They're very like full colored, and they've got like just a lot of weird designs on them. And their whole thing is that some are for searching. I wanted to make one that was like just for face-up spells and traps, and then another that would be for face-down ones. But then I realized that would kind of be redundant because you would need 2. So now I figured, okay, maybe I have 1 for monsters from the deck, and maybe I would have just like 1 Carbonator for monsters and 1 for spells and traps. I don't know. Maybe it would be better for like set spells and then 1 for active spells. I don't know.
I have a weird idea. Maybe you can retool this. Maybe these are the Carbonators are basically like the instant soda can version of classic spell and trap effects that you usually have on cards, like the Carbonator of the Mystic Space Typhoon. You know, that is like
I actually did have names for them.
Okay.
One was going to be like their boss monster is a rank 4 Xyz called Carbonator Cola Commander.
Okay.
And then one was Lemon Lime Lancer.
Mm-hmm.
One was Root Beer Berserker. And I think one of them was like Orange Ambusher, something like that. So something like that. Basically, they all just did a different thing to destroy a card. And at first, I thought like, and then their spells and traps get effects. They're like Carbonator Refill. Each time a card on the field is destroyed by a Carbonator monster effect, search 1 from your deck. That's all it did.
Okay.
Not the best idea, but you know, I could just make them soda cans and they'd kind of be like battery men.
I'm not sure if that is a good idea.
Hey, battery men are a fun little OTK strategy.
It's true, but it took a while till they took off. You know?
Yeah, because you know, like they came out super early, and like what was it, GX 5D, something like that, where they didn't know how to make archetypes. Granted, we don't, but Hull Trolls, it's fun.
I mean, if you really want to make them soda cans, then you have to basically make their effects like only that they can only be activated once. Like make them all wait, can you do that? Could you make them instant Xyz monsters that have only 1 effect? And that they are only formed with 1 with 1 material, and you pop it.
I mean, Zodiacs.
I mean, not like Zodiacs, you know, like that they are. I don't know. That doesn't seem right. Either that, or like they are summoned with a token, and when you pop them, you need to remove a token, and you only can get the effect back if they get the token back. I'm just thinking.
Machine? Maybe vending machine.
I mean, vending machine.
You could get a vending machine, and like, during your standby phase, you can discard as many cards as you want from like the top of your deck or something like that. And then for each one, you get a soda token, and then each one you can get rid of. You can destroy one of the tokens, and then you can special summon a Carbonator from your deck or something. I don't know.
That's like a cool idea. Like also when we're in the business of soda cans, maybe like a holder of 6-packs that can be that gains effects or attack boni based on how many other cans are put into the graveyard or something like.
Oh, it could be a fusion.
Either a fusion or an
Xyz. A contact fusion. Like you could combine. What if it was a recycled can?
Oh my god!
You could. Oh wait! What if they had a fusion spell that was like Carbonator Recycle, and you could shuffle as many Carbonators in your grave as you wanted back into your deck, and then special summon a fusion monster, and it gained so many effects or attack points based on how many you shuffled back in.
So like a Chimera Tech draft?
Not necessarily. It might be more like I'm not entirely sure what that would be. Might be like Chimera Tech Dragon.
You don't know? Do you don't know?
Yeah, maybe that would be a better idea though. Themed around using one time. Well, maybe not one time, but like you can only use this effect once per turn while it's face up on the field. Maybe they could do stuff like that. Like they would be weak little soda can guys. I don't know what type they would be. They could be machines, but that would really make sense.
I think either Aqua type would be good, or like mean, it's really hard. We don't have a metal type. That's really like the biggest problem.
Yeah.
And I don't
Maybe aqua would be the best fit because they'd be water, or they could be earth aqua.
That's a good combination. Yeah.
Yeah, they could be earth aqua. Then you can like tech them into something stupid like paleo toads or something.
Yeah.
But that might be an interesting thing. Like they have a spell card that would kind of act like toy vendor for Fluffles, where like once per turn you can just ditch so many cards from the top of your deck, and then you can summon tokens, and then for each one you could just destroy it, and then you could special summon a Carbonator, and they could do an effect one time, and then maybe they'll be sent to the grave. And like maybe they're all like super duper weak, like they have max 500 attack points or something like that. And like you can destroy this card to bounce one monster your opponent controls or something like that. I don't know. And then when they're in the grave, you use recycle and then bring out your big boss monster. What would it be? Colazilla. No, that's stupid. I don't know what their boss monster. I don't know what their names would be because they'd be based on soda. So you could just call them after soda flavors like Carbonator, Lemon Lime, or Root Beer and stuff like that. And then I'm not entirely sure what the fusion would be. And maybe they could have more than one, and they could gain like different effects. Like if you have tokens on the field.
It's kind of weird. I think that there's a lot of potential here, but it's not tapped into because we haven't really got the core thing going.
Yeah, because then again, we had to figure out what your toll trolls were supposed to do.
I know. It's just,
and that's why we're doing this, and that's why I like this. And we're probably going to bring it back at some point because I'm having a lot of fun. How about you?
I'm having a lot of fun.
Cool.
So yeah, but we need to make it effective. That's
the first thing we need to figure out is what exactly like their main thing is. What do they do? What do they do?
So do you want? So at first you described them to me as like a. That's really the approach that you wanted to take with them first. You know?
Yeah, kind of.
But the problem is the toolbox approach only works with the extra deck kind of. Because that allows you to basically pick and choose. Because choose specific effects is like something like, you would only play like a few of them and not all of them because you would never really use this kind of effect. Like when do you really need to destroy face down cards anymore? Like there's so little use for face down cards, so people would just say, no, I don't really need that. So the question is, do you want to do that? I mean, if you want to have a large amount of different kind of effects, you need to look what can they do. And I mean, if they're based on soda cans or in soda, then you need to fill something, with that.
Mm-hmm.
So either your vending machine is like the fusion monster, where all of the cans come together and are powerful, and it gains effects on whatever is used for the fusion in certain amounts. That could be useful. You could do that as the boss monster.
No, the soda machine is the spell, because you get sodas from a vending machine. So.
Yeah, sure, but the vending machine is only powerful when it has soda.
Yeah, maybe.
So it's just a thing. Otherwise, you would need to fill the soda into something, because soda is only good if you drink it, if you pop it. So the question is,
it could be a bottle rocket. Carbonator bottle rocket.
Okay.
That could be it.
Yeah, but that would be a cool concept. But the question is, what do you do with it? What does the bottle rocket do?
Actually, I kind of want to like maybe that could be like one of the fusions, like Carbonator bottle rocket. This card, it has 0 attack and defense. This card is unaffected by card effects except its own. I don't know. That probably not that thing. If this card attacks, destroy it and every other card on the field, and then deal your opponent 500 damage for each card destroyed. And it requires like 5.
That sounds like a good idea. Yeah.
Because you nuke the board but I mean, you're doing something. Then again, you'd probably be out of stuff by then, so your board would be open.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
probably not the best idea.
I mean, it's not the best idea, but you could see how you can use that, you know? And it's for a game option for the end, like, you know, Cowboy for Game was a classic for a long time, so why not have something like that? Depending on the board size, it could be useful.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it could be a one-time direct attack, a lot of damage, you know, gets rid of itself at the end.
Maybe it gains like 500, 700 attack for each material used, and like it can only be summoned with Carbonator Recycle, the fusion spell. Maybe that's what they do. Maybe they could be like prank kids. Like you get a bunch of them out, and they do like a bunch of these different weird things, and then you summon like their extra deck monsters with their weird. I don't know. I don't entirely know what prank kids do, but like the main decks do weird stuff. And they have different effects, but then they're sent to the grave. Then you use recycle in order to just make a big fusion monster with the ones in the grave, and then you can shuffle them back in. It would be kind of like restocking the vending machine, and then you do it again next turn. Problem is, you'd probably lose before you get a next turn because the odds are pretty good. You're not going to have a very big defense. So I guess these guys would. It'd be weird to have OTKs based around soda cans.
I know, but it would be fun to have like an Xyz monster that would once have like 6 materials on it, so you have a 6-pack.
Yeah, but the only way to do that would be like if they had like a level 1 fusion, because then you would have to overlay it with like a bunch of other ones, and that'd be really complicated. But what if that was the effect? Like Bottle Rocket was your win condition. Like you loaded up the graveyard with a bunch of these things, and then you used Recycle to shuffle them all back in, and then Bottle Rocket gained so much attack, it just attacked, and you won.
That sounds like a good idea. So okay, so but all of the creatures, but all of the monsters need an effect. Like think about it. Maybe we and you pop them. You pop them. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't gain a token. They move a token, but to a opponent's target to do something with that target. Like maybe one of them negates effects. Maybe one of them reduces attack points. Maybe one of them, you know, these kind of things.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like maybe
because you basically douse them with a content. You douse them with a content, and then it's like, yep.
That was actually the original idea I had. Like, there's soda, so maybe you can use them to weaken the opponent.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Maybe that could be it. Like they only gain their effects if they're special summoned by the effect of the vending machine. Because like that's their whole thing. They need that thing. And maybe one would be like you can destroy this card to reduce all monsters your opponent controls by to reduce the attack points of all monsters your opponent controls by like 500 for each Carbonator monster in your grave. And maybe one just lets you search other Carbonator cards so you can easily get Recycle.
Yep.
Would it make more sense to call it Restock?
Yeah, no,
but then
not necessarily.
You drink the soda and then they're thrown in the trash, so it would make more sense for it to be Recycle.
Yeah, I think Recycle is a good option. But yeah, so maybe your searcher is actually like the soda can with a golden ticket in it, and it allows you to get more. You know, like
I don't know. I'm just gonna see if there's like a list of soda flavors.
I mean, there are a lot of soda flavors.
Okay, there's a lot.
I think you should
quite a bit.
There's think you should
soda.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
See, but the important thing is you shouldn't go over. Like we all know that the maximum amount of unique, specific type monsters should never go over 6, because 6 Samurai was the core element, and even they were like, 6 is already a pretty high number, you know.
Yeah.
So more than 6 different flavors shouldn't be included unless you flavor them extra deck flavored.
Yeah, I guess that would be the idea of the fusion monster. Okay, so maybe that's what they do. They weaken your opponent with the main deck, and then you recycle them back into your deck so you can use them next turn, and then you bring out a big fusion with recycle, and you just can keep doing that over and over. That's what they do. And then their win condition is Bottle Rocket.
Yep.
They probably need more fusions, though.
That's true. Well,
okay, but let's think. What are like the 6 mandatory things that an archetype needs? They need a searcher.
Yep.
They need something to pop cards.
Yep.
A draw card?
Not so often the
Maybe
case.
that can be a spell or something.
That's more of a spell thing or like that.
Yeah, so, maybe that could be like maybe that could be restock. Like you shuffle up to 3 Carbonator monsters in your grave back into your deck. Draw 1 card for each you shuffled back in.
No, that's too heavy. Maximum should be 2.
All right, that's fine.
That's like for archetypal draw spells, 2 should be the absolute maximum.
Okay.
So what else? We need some spell removal, like for
all right.
For that.
So maybe 1 can pop monsters and the other can pop spells and traps.
Yeah. So that's free, you know.
Okay. So 1 to negate.
Yep.
Okay. Maybe 1 to... I want to say 1 to special summon, but...
Maybe retrieval is more an option, like picking 1 from the graveyard into the hand.
Maybe like 1 Carbonator spell or trap in your grave back to your hand?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, okay. So recovery...
And the 6th one should be just...
reduce attack.
Not only, I think that should be the if there would be, that would be the generic, useful, harmless beat stick that doesn't do much, but is capable of attacking.
All right, so that's not the main deck one.
No, that could be the main deck one. That's like the simple one, like the one that is not... What I mean with a beat stick is not that it goes 20 hundreds or something like that, just 180, nothing more. Like,
you mean 1800?
1800 would be like what I would see as the main deck minimum little beat stick, and because it does attack manipulation, it can be, just...
Yeah, but that doesn't... I feel like that wouldn't really fit in with the rest of the Carbonators, because I feel like the rest of them would just be like level 2 things that you just... You get them from the vending machine, and then you pop it, and then you get an effect. I feel like that's pretty much all they would do. I feel like having a beat stick in the main deck wouldn't really work out, and if it's that weak, I don't really think it would be very useful. Actually, maybe the vending machine should be like once during your main phase, because if it was during the standby phase, you couldn't really do anything on your first turn. That'd be
that's kind of a... Yeah. I don't know. You have to... That's something you need to work on. This was like something that does... It's definitely something, but it needs more work.
That's why we're doing this. All right, so maybe let's just make the 6th one an attack reducer, because
good.
Why not? They're soda. They're supposed to make you weaker.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what they do. They're just like basic ones that you destroy, and then so that's what this archetype is going to be about. The main decks are super weak little soda cans you get from your spell card, the vending machine. Special summon them, and then pop them to get their effects, and then you use like various spell and trap cards to recycle them back into the deck, and then get various effects.
Yeah,
that's a neat little play style.
Yeah, I think that is not a bad idea at all.
All right. Now, other than Bottle Rocket, let's try and think of some fusion monsters they can use. Because I feel like they would pretty much just be the fusion archetype thing. Because it doesn't seem like they would work super well with Xyz. Because if you're getting your main deck monsters on board, you're pretty much just using them for the effects, right?
Yeah, mostly.
All right, so yeah, they'd probably just work with the fusions.
Cool. So the question
Now
is,
I think about it. Could you? No, wait, they're aqua. Never mind.
what
I
do
thought
mean?
you would be able to do something like overload fusion, but then like I realized that's for dark machines. Most of them don't need. They usually just take machines for generic material. I don't know. So that's
Maybe.
fine.
Oh, wait. We could make our own archetypal of it called soda load fusion.
But we already have recycle.
Yeah, but that hasn't stopped Cyber Dragons from having like 3 different fusion spells.
Yeah, but this is just like in the play style. We could maybe give them one that lets them fuse from the hand.
Yeah, something like that. But we'll think about that later. Okay, so
Yeah, we'll think about that in a
but
minute.
we
Gotta
need
get
to
the monsters.
first get a monster. Okay, so we have a bottle rocket. The bottle rocket is like the face thing.
Yeah, it's just like
So-
fire.
Okay, so then you need something to. Then you need a beat stick. You know, you need always a beat stick. Beat sticks are everywhere. You need one.
Soda keg.
Soda keg.
Don't they have those?
You could go for a barrel.
I feel like that's more of an alcohol thing.
Not necessarily. I mean, they have to be stored in large barrels before you can do that. But you know, it's just I found this was adjacent, but okay, we don't need to go there. But
I mean, we can have a barrel.
you know, but
Oh, that could be the root beer one, because I think you put root beer in barrels.
Yes, you do.
You could call it Carbonator Root Beer Zerker.
Yeah, he's like a big fella that attacks a lot.
He's a big boy.
Maybe we can make him
Dang,
sloppy.
boy, he's thick.
We could make him a sloppy attacker. Like maybe you cannot really determine what he attacks or only half the time.
I feel like that would be a terrible beat stick.
Hey, yeah.
Maybe he could start out like at 1500, and then for each material you shuffle back into the deck with recycle, he gains like 400.
Yeah.
That seems like a fair amount, because like
if he's a barrel, barrels are large. Barrels roll. Maybe he can attack twice per combat step.
I mean, if he's like literally just being used for a beat stick, having something that just attacks like over and over again would probably be a fitting effect.
You know, so I think like 2 attacks per turn wouldn't be too bad for something.
This card can attack twice during each battle phase. That's the thing you do with them.
Good, but what happens if he's destroyed? Like,
if he's destroyed, you can. If this card is destroyed, you can half the attack of all phase-up monsters your opponent controls until the end phase of your next turn. Because it's like they broke it open and then they drank all the root beer, and now they're just like standing around with bloated stomachs like, we shouldn't have drank that much root beer. Oh.
Yeah. Sounds like a good idea. Either that or just stop him from attacking or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. So that's root beer.
So that's
the beat stick.
A beat stick, the root berserker.
Root beerl.
Root beerls. Oh god, it's getting a little bit spicy with the wordplay.
It's a pun. It's fun.
I know it's like oof, it's a bit heavy, but okay, I like it. It's not the worst thing we had in Yu-Gi-Oh.
I mean, we couldn't think of any like really good puns for Toll Troll except the name.
That's totally fine. It could be worse.
Troll totally fine.
Please don't.
I'm sorry. All right, so we got the nuker in the form of Bottle Rocket, and then we got Root Beerl.
So we need one more.
Maybe a defender?
Nah, defenders are not really useful for things.
I guess these guys are more like
we need a dragon. We
don't need a dragon. We don't need a soda dragon.
Why not?
We don't need a soda dragon. Why would we need a soda dragon? What would we even make it out of? Could it be like Carbonator can sculpture dragon?
No, I think he could be made out of. I mean, we're already doing this out of a stuff like it's a water dragon like kind of thing that's like done out of soda. The rainbow soda dragon.
That'd be really hard to pull off. Would it be like one carbonator of each attribute or something?
No, we have no attributes. We already decided they are aqua type monsters.
I know. I don't know what that would be. Would it be like 6 carbonators with different names? That would be a bit demanding to get out on the first turn.
No. Nobody plays Rainbow. It's not that. I just fall.
I mean, they do play Rainbow Dragon. You use it for Rainbow Neos.
Either that or I don't know.
What if we had a field nuke?
We already have. I don't know. But the idea is that my idea was like thinking like Yu-Gi-Oh! You know? Every archetype, no matter how stupid, needs to have a dragon.
Dark Magician.
Okay, you got me there. But still, this was for a very long time the attitude. Like every archetype had to have a dragon. That's why we have Block Dragon.
Just wondering, but what if we had one that could bring itself out of the extra deck? Like if one of your monsters is destroyed.
Yeah, but
maybe that could be Bottle Rocket's other effect. Like it gains so much attack for each material used for it. It can attack directly, but then it destroys itself and every other card on the board. But you get to special summon one Carbonator fusion monster from your extra deck in defense position.
Or you just say it can't attack this turn.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, it doesn't need to be that complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be not a bad idea. You know, it's definitely something. So what would that be?
Well, we've already got a barrel. We've already got a bottle rocket. What else is soda used for that we could do? Some kind of defender, like just some kind of.
You want a defender? Okay. You want a defender.
You know, for those instances where you can't get enough. Because at most, what are you giving Bottle Rocket? At most, you're making him on. Best case scenario, you make him on like turn 2, and you attack directly, and then you can kill him in one turn. But like after that, if you don't kill him in one turn, you're kind of screwed unless you get something out on the field. And even then, Root Beetle would only have like 1,500 base, so that's not very good.
Mm-hmm. So what is it? What do we want? What is Defender-esque soda-like?
I'm not entirely sure. Some kind of steel can. I don't know. Wait, what's like a soda that's been around for like a super really long time? And it's like it's still here.
Hey, I don't know. We could also make him like a giant barrel.
We already had Root Beetle.
No, but like an empty like a giant empty can. Like he's just a husk to defend, but you can fill him with something.
It's a bit kind of sad.
Yeah, but you fill him with power. No, he's first very defensive, but you fill him up with something, and bam.
What, like he has 3,000 defense, but you can destroy any number of Carbonator monsters on your side of the field and give him like 500 for each until the end of the turn, and then after it attacks, it switches back to defense mode.
It could. You don't actually need to make this just once per turn. We could make it permanent. There's nothing stopping us from that. If it's just 500, we can make that a permanent change.
I feel like that would kind of defeat the purpose because we already have Root Beetle for the beat stick. And if you're trading the effects
But
of
a
your
defender doesn't
carbonators.
do anything. It just sits there and does nothing. It's
It
just
could be
there to
immune
protect
to
us.
effect destruction.
Sure, but how do you do that?
What if it was just a can sculpture?
It could be.
Like it was just this 3K wall that can't be destroyed by card effects.
Sure, we can do that. If that's all that you want. But you need to do something with it afterwards. It just sits there, and then what?
I mean,
What's the
yeah,
comeback? What's the comeback option? What's the thing that coming back? Do you just
you
set
can
up for another
destroy it.
bottle rocket?
If this card, maybe you could destroy it by its own effect and draw until you have 5 cards in your hand, but you can only do this. I mean, maybe.
No.
Oh wait, what if you
it-
could destroy it and then add 5 Carbonator cards from your grave to your hand?
Well, if we do it actually first thing, if we really use a card to bottle rocket, the bottle rocket recycling needs to banish the cards, so there is nothing in the graveyard.
But that defeats the point of recycling.
I mean, then we would put it back into the deck as an alternative. But if we do it back in the deck, there's still nothing in the graveyard.
Yeah, but I meant like spells and traps and stuff like that.
I mean, if you want to bring spells and traps back, but what do you do? What do you do with 5 spell? But what do you bring out with 5 spells or traps? Just to pop it?
No idea. Okay, so that's not a good one.
See, the end game here is a little bit of is a bit shaky.
Yeah,
I can see a turn that there's just something missing.
and that something missing is probably Can Sculpture's effect.
Yeah.
It needs to have something that lets you come back from, like, okay, you used Bottle Rocket, you probably used up a lot of your resources. What do?
Yeah.
What can Can Sculpture do that helps you actually get back some stuff? It really should just sit there.
We could break them up. Like if you really want to do the popping thing, maybe the popping thing creates smaller token versions of itself that can be used for something else, like, an Xyz summoning or a.
You can't use tokens for Xyz summon.
I forgot about that, but we need to do something with it. Maybe we really need to go into that link play or something. Because
that wouldn't be very good, because again, their whole thing is that they destroy themselves and then you recycle them, and they're destroying themselves it gets their effect. So if you use them for links or something like that, you wouldn't get their effect, so that would kind of defeat the purpose. Maybe you could destroy it and then activate the vending machine from your deck or graveyard, and then you can get 4 tokens.
I don't know.
Like okay, you made the sculpture and like you recycled the sculpture itself so that you could get some money. I don't know. You sold the sculpture and you're going back to the vending machine to get more supplies.
Yeah, but that would only reset. It's just weird. I think the big problem is the deck has no end game yet.
Bottle Rocket.
Again, but that's not the end game. That's one of the tools to the end game. But setting up Bottle Rocket again and again and again is hard to do if you have to gain all of the resources back and and you can't draw too many cards.
All right.
Because the advantage would be too high. Because if you do something like that, this is the real big thing. Think about, you said that if you destroy it, if you pop it, it would allow you to draw up to 5 cards. Can you imagine what people would do to basically abuse the hell out of it? Like that's something you can't do.
I was kidding.
But it's okay, but that's a point that we have to consider. So what we're doing, I don't know. That's why I thought like a link play thing, because that would be something that you could do. just, I don't know, maybe the second setup of it is actually into like link plays where you have to basically set up the field so that you can link up as many Carbonator monsters with each other to gain a big blast or something like that. But that's just, again, there's something missing. Maybe we're overlooking a very important soda fact that we could turn into a card.
Mountain Dew was once used to flavor moonshine. That's all I can think of.
It's not really what helps us. I mean,
I know.
we could think about like the soda factory. That
would be the
like,
field spell.
That would be like a field spell, yeah.
Yeah, but we need can sculpture to do something good.
But what do sculptures do? They look good and maybe attract people.
Yeah, but this one is just like you can't destroy it, and it's a big wall. That's its thing. It needs something. Maybe like you can banish it from the field in order to, because then you can't use it for more material with recycle. So
yeah,
maybe you could do that, and like you can add 3 Carbonator monsters from your. Maybe you could either send 3 Carbonator monsters in your deck to the grave, or add them to your hand, because then you could use those for recycle.
That could work, but what would you get out of that? Like
another bottle rocket.
Yeah, but the bottle rocket would have what? We said like 400 per card.
No, that was Beerl. Beerl would get like 1,200, so like 27. That's not bad.
27 is, I don't know.
And if you use it with something like Bottle Rocket, it would gain like, I think that was like 2,100, because I think we said like 700 for each. I'm not sure. Something like that.
I mean, yeah, that would be an option, but then again, you would do like at that point, the game plan would be just bring it out one time, fuse the bottle.
What if you could banish it from the field, and then you would banish 5 Carbonator monsters from, not 5, but like up to 3. I wanted to do something where like your opponent cannot stop your comeback play. Like maybe it could be like a magical meltdown where they can't respond to the effects of Carbonator monsters for the rest of the turn, or Carbonator cards.
Okay.
Like maybe you could do that. Like you could banish it from the field, and then like maybe you could fuse Carbonator monsters in your hand or like your deck or something by banishing them. But you could only banish like maximum 4, maybe 3. Because if you permanently remove them, you can't use them for recycle.
I just still think we are missing something. There is still an extra deck monster we're missing that we can go to.
Well, we got a beater. We got can sculpture's just the wall.
Yes, we have a beater. We have a nuke. We have or to the face or whatever, and we have.
We got a nuke. We got a beater, and we got a wall. What the heck are we missing?
A controller?
It's not about control. Your main decks already do that. Because they pop stuff, they weaken stuff, they negate stuff, and then you make a fusion, and that's their play.
Well, I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Maybe they could use one more extra deck just to be like, okay, what else could they do? What else could they do?
Yeah, that's kind of my problem. I don't really. I'm at my wit's end here.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We will find something for that. Maybe not today. Maybe next. Maybe to do for the soda dragon. Maybe we have no other.
We're not making this. What if can sculpture just made it so like your Carbonators couldn't be destroyed by card effects? I don't know.
That just doesn't help us.
Face up. Carbonator monsters you control can't be destroyed by card effects.
But we're already on. But then they can't destroy themselves anymore.
Except by the effects of Carbonator monsters.
It's. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm here. That's my end. Sorry, I can't help you out. That's
All right. Well, you want
That
to just
needs-
move on from the monsters and like make up a few fun little spells and traps?
sure.
All right. Well, they're gonna need a vending machine. So
Yes.
should we just call it vending machine, or should we call it carbonator vending machine?
I think that depends. Vending machine is more of a generic. Search it. That allows you a little bit more flexibility with what the effect does, but then you also need to have a universal effect. So I don't know. So I would rather make it part of the archetype.
All right. Because the thing I was thinking, like, yeah, you send so many cards from the top of your deck to the grave, which might include more carbonators, so you could use them with recycle, and then you can summon that many tokens to the field, and for each token you destroy, you get a carbonator. I want to say from the deck, but you can't summon more than one with the same name. Like,
Fine by
maybe
me.
that would be work. What?
Fine by me, I guess.
Because like they're weak, and you can only use their effects once, so that might be fine. And if it's destroyed, I don't know what would happen if it was destroyed. Like,
I mean, it's already a major searcher. Yeah. So it doesn't search more. So if it gets destroyed, the floating effect should be related to something else. Maybe tie it to like maybe if it's destroyed, the opponent can conduct a battle phase for that turn.
that seems pretty heavy.
Either that, or
But then again, if they are destroyed, I'm assuming since Bottle Rocket would be like the main thing you're bringing out, and it nukes all cards, then Vending Machine would basically say that your opponent can't attack next turn because you wouldn't have anything.
So we would need actually the golem, the statue.
So yeah, I guess can sculpture is just kind of pointless.
I mean, it's not a great thing to begin with. Defenders are not really something that.
All right, we'll just forget about can sculpture. We couldn't figure out what to do with it anyway. So that'll be its effect. If it's destroyed, your opponent can't conduct their next battle phase.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty simple.
Sure. So what does a field spell do? Field spell, because that's what we already have an idea from. So what are we doing with a field spell?
I honestly am not sure. Maybe like each time you. Okay, it's a factory, so you're making the soda cans.
Yes.
Maybe like once per turn, you can discard a card to search out any other carbonator card except itself.
That's a good idea. Yeah, you could.
Because then you could just easily get access to Vending Machine, and you wouldn't need a card like Fluffle Bear or Hecatrice to be like discard and then search the thing.
Because in this case, it is kind of like that. This is like similar to Revolving Switchyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe, but we should limit it. If we want to do that, like
what? You kind of just cut out.
If you want to do it like Revolving Switchyard, you need to put it at the end of a turn.
That's
the factory needs time to produce, so you don't.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you don't have Vending Machine in your hand, you couldn't really do anything because their whole thing revolves around using the vending machine.
Yeah, but vending machine is also very powerful in these kind of cases. Maybe that's why we shouldn't, put the battle interruption on on that card. Maybe we have to put it on a field spell instead.
Maybe, what if the field spell just says, like, while this card is active, you can only special summon Carbonator monsters?
That's a good idea.
Because then you can tech it into something else that could maybe utilize level 2 Earth Aqua monsters while also taking you. It'd be a very specific thing, but, you could do that. But if it was just like, if you use this...
So that's a restriction. So that's a restriction. That's okay. But if we put a restriction, we also need a benefit from that. Because,
Which is the search.
This is the search. So if we do that, we just throw away something and get something out of it. Okay, hand neutral, but I think there needs to be another effect on the card.
Probably a destruction thing. Because if you're summoning Bottle Rocket, it's going to nuke the field spell.
Yeah. So because...
Just activate another copy of itself.
Nah, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, it's probably not a good idea.
No, that's not really. Maybe here maybe we switch this out. This is what we put the battle step switch on, and put the on the vending machine something else,
All right.
because that would be kind of a problem. Oh, maybe we do this. You can. Maybe we do this. The effect of a vending machine would be like, if this card would be destroyed, you can banish a Carbonator monster in your graveyard to not let it be destroyed this turn.
Could it be a Carbonator card instead? Because
yes, it could be card.
You know, because the whole plan is to dump them and then use recycle to just get them all back. So I'm assuming you're just recycling them all, so then you couldn't stop it from being destroyed. Yeah, unless you banish Bottle Rocket.
Yeah, so basically.
So yeah, that thing is like, if it would be destroyed, you can banish a Carbonator spell or trap from your graveyard instead. And then the field spell would let you search. It would lock you into Carbonators, and if it's destroyed, your opponent can't attack next turn.
Yeah, that's how I would set it up. Yeah, that's good.
That is good. This is neat.
See, now it comes together. I think this is the thing. The statue was the thing that kind of bothered me. Now it works. You don't need to have that much. If it has only 2 extra deck monsters, that's totally fine.
Yeah. I'm having so much fun.
Okay, so now we need more spell and trap cards. So what?
Recycle. Obviously,
recycle.
That's their fusion spell. And its effect is just fusion summon.
Do you want to make it quick play?
Not really, just because I feel like having that option wouldn't really do much.
Okay, it's just
because they don't have anything that lets them do interruption.
That's true. It's just I wanted to have this. I didn't actually want it that it is activatable time. It's just a little extra step, so it can't be easily interrupted by lower speed effects. That's what the goal is. But okay.
Maybe it could be either one, but maybe like you can only use it during your turn.
Yep, that's what I meant. Like that's exactly what I meant. You can only use this during your turn, but it is a quick play. So basically, it doesn't get interrupted by that many cards.
Okay, that's fine. And it's just like fusion summon 1 Carbonator fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling materials in your graveyard back into your deck.
Yes.
You can only use this effect once per turn.
Do we want to maybe also make them? I think there needs to be another restriction on it if you're really thing on the deck. So maybe you skip your next draw phase.
That would not be good.
It's just a thinking process.
Because if you're already playing with Carbonators, you're probably using the vending machine and the factory, so you're already locked into the archetype. And the whole thing is just about making one big move by recycling all the materials in your grave. So then, I don't think that needs to be a thing, because
it's okay. It's okay. It's just it was a thinking process.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what their fusion spell does.
Okay.
And then a search card. Maybe they could just. Then again, you're only really needing the vending machine, and it searches from the deck.
Yeah, so we don't need any kind of search in this case,
because it already has the vending machine and the factory. So
that's already more searching than most of our.
Yeah. What else? It'd be funny if they had an equip card.
What would the equip be?
I have no idea. Yeah, bumpy ride.
Bumpy ride? Okay.
They get you equip it with them, and then they get shaken up. I don't know. Like, maybe it has the effect where if it's destroyed by a card effect, destroy a random card in your opponent's hand. I have no idea. Like,
wait. We can do this like double carbonation. It's an equip spell that Then the card that this is equipped to is destroyed. Trigger the effect of its destruction twice.
Only one of them has a destruction effect. Two of them.
No, I mean, no. You equip it to one of your Carbonator monsters, and when you pop it, it has an effect. And the equip spell makes it trigger twice.
Okay, that would actually work.
Yeah, so you repeat the same effect, but you switch out targets.
Like if this card is destroyed, activate the. I have no idea how you would word that, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Rethink that, but that's kind of how I would do that. It's like
double spell.
Yeah, it's like one of these. It's basically it was filled with too much carbonation, and so it explodes with double the blast, so to speak.
So like pop 2 cards, double the amount your opponent's monsters have their attacks decreased by. Yeah, that works. That works. What else?
Okay, maybe a blast damage spell or something like that. They one of your gain like and turn a little bit of burn damage.
I mean, they've already got Bottle Rocket.
That's true. It's okay. So it doesn't need too many spells because all of the things it does already do through popping.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to add to that.
Maybe we can think of a trap card. Like Carbonator counter. It's just an Infernity barrier. Like if you control a face-up Carbonator fusion monster, you can negate a thing.
Okay.
And then shuffle it back into the deck. Which, if you think about it, would actually be stupid powerful because a lot of them are just like you can't destroy it or stuff. So like. But with this one, there's only like one Carbonator you can actually keep on the field, and that's Root Beetle. So, at most, you would have a big beat stick and a negate, and that's it.
So what about a revival?
Restock.
I mean, yeah, do we want to make this a trap card, maybe?
Not... Probably not. Because if you are using the effect, you're probably using it to get back like another one of the main deck Carbonators to get like its effect again. And the fusion monsters don't really do anything because you didn't summon them properly. So,
well, I'm out. That's basically everything I think about.
All right.
It's like the rest. I
kind of want to make like one like a normal trap card. I'm not entirely sure what it would be.
I don't know. What do you think does the normal trap card do?
Usually they like destroy stuff or like contribute in some way to the goal of like the deck. So in this case, it would be dumping materials into the graveyard in order to use recycle. Maybe the normal trap could be like activate this only if you control another face-up Carbonator spell or trap card. And it like foolish burials a certain number.
That's not a good idea.
Yeah,
foolish burial is already very powerful. You don't need one.
Yeah,
it's generic. So I don't know. Maybe as a cost of a card, you could like showcase. You could like reveal a Carbonator monster or a Carbonator card from your hand to resolve an effect. Like maybe.
Maybe that could be the draw card.
Yeah, I think something like that.
What's the word? It can't be recycle. That's already the fusion spell. Like you show a certain number, discard all the Carbonator monsters in your hand, draw cards from your deck equal to the number of cards you discarded. Because I think that's fair because you're not getting
that stacks up. That stacks up the graveyard a little. But I have a better idea. Maybe let's do this like a like a 2-for-1 deal. It's basically you reveal 2 different Carbonator cards in your hand. Draw a card.
Yeah, that could probably work.
Either
Maybe it would
that
be better if it was monsters.
Yeah, it should
And
be
also
monsters,
maybe we could
I
make
think.
it so vending machine only summons from the deck. So if you have them in your hand, you might not want to use them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So that there might be a reason to shuffle it back into the deck.
Right. So,
but yeah, that's kind of it. That's what I think. This could be working. We have to work it out a little bit more, but
yeah.
I think that's the basic ones.
Yeah.
I think the audience can tell us what they think about it.
If anyone's actually listening to this point and you heard us talk about trolls and soda cans, thank you. If you have any fun ideas for Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes, let us know. We'll probably come back to this today, or not today, but like sometime, because I had a lot of fun, didn't you?
Yep, I had also a lot of fun. It's a nice thinking experience. Thinking is fun.
Next up, I'll tell you what wushas are, because they're a neat idea, and I don't have a solid idea for what they should do, but I have an idea for them. And that's the ones those are the archetypes we made up this episode. If you listened to this and you thought it was interesting, let us know, and we'll probably do it again.
Hit the like button. Do the subscribing.
Lick and subscribe. Like and subscribe. I don't know.
Ring the bell or something like that.
Ring my bell. Ring my bell.
Kate?
All right, so those are the archetypes we made up. We got toll trolls, these little, they're probably fiends, right?
Yeah, I think so. That's
trolls
how usually. I mean, trolls are not necessarily. No, it's not important. We'll get to that point.
Yeah, so toll trolls are these little guys with business suits who take your cards and have you pay to get them back by returning cards in your hand to the bottom of the deck, which is a really neat idea. And carbonators are these little soda can guys that destroy things and then launch a bottle rocket at your face. Or something else. I don't know. But that's what they do. As they did. This is a lot of fun. You got anything to end us off on?
Do pay your debts and don't drink too much soda.
All right, that's gonna be good. Bye.
Bye.